Okay, let's talk a little bit about ChatGPT. I believe everybody here uses it. Is that correct? All righty. I'm going to help you kind of use it as a power user. I use it probably, I would say, at least 15 to 20 times a day. I have a lot of my stuff written for me. Even my breaks now, I'm using that to tease things. I'm using it to find celebrity birthdays, 10-second filler in between my songs. I mean, there's so many different things that you can use it for. It truly is amazing. And so it's like, okay, you can go back and do radio back in the day using a shovel, or you can use an excavator. This is the excavator, which is going to help you move more earth and it's going to help you sound a lot smarter and stronger with your presentation. I sent everybody a Chat GPT prompting cheat sheet, and if you want to look at that, there's some cool things on that. First and foremost, um, if you look at the top at the format, there are a number of different things that you can do with it. You can ask it to code, table, essay, tweet. You can make a social media post, email, bullets, research, and presentation. And then also, if you're using the paid version, which I believe everyone is here, you can use it to do deep reasoning and you can have it find different things. If you look at, I don't know if everyone knows, but I have a blog. And for instance, I do a lot of news and commentary features. I try and keep that separate because sometimes I'll enter into some topics that are a little bit controversial, and I don't want the radio station involved with that. But for instance, I made a post yesterday on the Victor Perez thing, and it was non-controversial, but I wanted to show kind of a chronology. And so I found a couple of websites. I put it into Chat GPT, and it came up with a very, very nice chronology that I was able to post there. And so you're able to make social media and blog posts very, very easily with this. You still have to drive it. You have to give it direction. The more specific you can be, the better off you are going to be as well. And so those are some of the things that you can do with this. It's also important to let it know what kind of a tone. If you want it to be firm, confident, poetic, narrative, professional, descriptive, humorous, academic, persuasive, formal, informal, or friendly. Those are all different tones that you can use that it will respect. And there's another cool thing that ChatGPT is now doing, and it started this past weekend. It will now look over everything you have done in notes in the past, and it will tell you, it'll look at your preferences and try and remember that. And it kind of did before, but not conclusively. There would be times that I would have it format the news that you guys all put out on your websites, on your social media each and every morning, and it would forget some of the things that I would tell it to do. And so now it seems to be remembering that, and so it's getting better as time goes on. I also sent you a handout that says Lee Family Broadcasting Chat GPT Guide, and it has some prompting tips for best results. As I mentioned, the more specific your prompts, the better off they are going to be. Give feedback every time you can with a thumbs up or thumbs down. That tells the computer to remember your feedback. So if you liked what it did, give them a thumbs up. If you didn't, give them a thumbs down. Yes, it will. And, for the general preferences, it'll look for, what the mean responses are, and it's going to give you kind of the mean. Yeah, right. And so if you have the ability of purchasing the $20 service, which I do, I take it up on my taxes. That way, it's very much personalized. You're going to get a better response, and it's well worth it, by the way. Right. Another thing that I think that this is important to use for is for social media purposes. And I'm going to show you here. This is just an example here. Question of the day. Um, what do you think about, this is mine for today, friends with benefits. And then I'm going to tell them make a post for Facebook. The other thing for Facebook, if you're going to use Facebook, you do not want to allow it to put bold in there, because if you have the bold there, you'll have the double stars, and it looks really, really tacky. No bold emojis. Whoops, can't type today. Good Lord, what is wrong with this thing? There we go. No, no, no. And then if you tell it to do hashtags, it'll do that as well. So anyway, this is what it's going to come up with here. All right. For some reason, it didn't add emojis. I don't know. There we go. Question of the day. What do you really think about friends with benefits? Is it a fun, no strings attached arrangement that works for some, or does it get messy in the end? Can friendship and physical connection really coexist? Curious to hear your thoughts. Now, that's a great Facebook post. And you can post that out there, and we really didn't have to do a whole lot of work in order to make that work. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Alrighty, for radio scripts, you do not want to use times. You don't want to say, okay, I want a 15-second, I want a 30, or I want a 60-second. It is all done in words. It's the same thing essentially for 11 Labs. This is a precursor for that. And so on your radio scripts, you want to say, okay, I want maximum of 40 words for a 15-second spot, preferably 37 to about 40. For a 30-second spot, you do not want any more than 83 at max, because you're going to have to go about 110% on your velocity of speech there to make it work. Preferably around 79 to 80 words to make it sound natural. And for a 60-second spot, you're looking at 160 words. So in other words, when you come over here and say, I need a single voice, because that's another thing we're going to talk about in a second, single voice radio spot about, I don't know, Mexican, let me think of some Mexican food for tacos, El Cabrón, 13, 17, Blue Lakes, Twin Falls, 160 words. And then, because I use a lot of Spanish, I'm going to tell it American English. You guys are probably going to be okay by just putting English. But I typically have to tell mine Mexican Spanish. If not, it'll give me, Spanish from Spain. So anyway, you can give it a little bit of an idea. And there is an idea of how to make a spot. Craving real Mexican flavor that hits different? Then it's time to level up your taco game at Tacos El Cabrón. Twin Falls' go-to spot for mouth-watering street-style Mexican food. And so that's kind of a script that you can come up with here. The other thing we talked about early on, we need to define whether it is whimsical, dramatic, serious, or what kind of tone you want to have. And another issue that I've been seeing in some of the copy that I get, we absolutely have to mention the sponsor's name 3 times. It's got to be there, or else we're not doing any favor to our client by having it in there just once in the copy. It needs to be in present tense, and unless the person who is recording it is talking about themselves, it needs to be in third person, not we or I. So make sure that that is always changed. So if you're talking about Goody Motors sells the best cars or whatever, not we sell the best cars at Goody Motors. Okay? Again, you need to indicate if it's a single or a dual voice because it will divide things out and do that as well for you. Specify the language. I came up with an example you're welcome to look at for Pooh Bear's Poopy Pants, making diaper dreams come true. Another thing you can do with this is if you find a cool article, let's say that there's an article that I put in here as an example of the 10 most painful places to get a tattoo on your body. You paste that in there, and you can put in there at the very beginning, okay, create a 35 word tease. In other words, that'll give you like a 15-second tease for the air, followed by a 100-word summary. So that's going to be a little over 30 seconds for your bit. And then a really quick, smart ass or edgy response. And so the edgy response was, want that cute rib tattoo? Cool. Just remember, it's not all Instagram likes and deep quotes when it feels like someone's carving your soul with a molten scalpel. Good luck, trendsetter. And so, it's you didn't really have to come up with anything, but you're going to sound good. You're going to sound witty on the air, and you're going to sound better than our competition because you actually have some thought put into this. So if you're producing at least one bit per hour, I mean, you can find so many different sources, and all you got to do is cut and paste. And after a while, the other thing that I would recommend is to have like a page of prompts. So all you would have to do is just copy and paste. Okay. So this is what I want now. I want 35 words on this, this, and this. So you copy your prompt and you copy in the information that you want to have into ChatGPT, have it, the bot take care of it for you, and out it comes. It spits it out very, very well, and in less than 10 seconds or so, you're good to go and good to go on the air. Another thing I'd recommend this for instance, Scotty will send me, copy from Luke over at Kim Hansen. And quite frankly, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. But I can put that into Chat GPT and it will transcribe it, and then I'll say, okay, translate to Mexican Spanish. Obviously, I've got to tweak it a little bit, but it's a lot less work that I'm doing than in the past. And after I get that down to and sometimes a disclaimer and everything will be really, really long. But if I tell it, okay, 165 word limit, then I can just paste it into 11 Labs and it's done. And so I'm saving probably a half an hour of work by having it transcribe everything for me and then translate it. And I'm just doing some minor tweaks on making sure that the copy is okay. You can do the same thing with forms. Let's say that you have, I don't know, like a sign or a poster somebody's going to give you for an event that they want the station to be at. All right. Before you had to write copy from all of that and it would be fairly tedious. Now you can have it transcribe, and after it's transcribed into ChatGPT, say make me a 160 word spot based on this information, and it'll do it. So in other words, again, we're saving time, we're saving resources and effort, and we're going to sound smarter by using ChatGPT. Any questions? Any questions on how to utilize this? Okay. I can guarantee you, once you start, you will be so blown away because you are going to get so much more out of what you're able to do. Oh, on the air, it's impressive. I actually rep an AI prep service. And all of this is based on the Chat GPT 4.0 engine. And I essentially gave you the secret of what I do, what I sell. And so you have it create that tease. So, hey, details coming up in 5 minutes. Find out what is the worst part of your body to get a tattoo on. And then you do you execute that, and then you come back with your response. And so that's all you got to do. All right. Thank you. I'm gonna